Hey, it's Dr. Abby. Do you say you want an amazing, close relationship, but then find yourself saying or doing things that actually give you the opposite? Well, you're in the right place, because today I'm going to teach you the top ways you're sabotaging your relationship that you probably don't even realize, and then the number one thing you can do to stop it. I put out new videos every week, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a minute of fabulous time with me. So let's get to it. Now, there are many reasons people self-sabotage, but they really all break down to one thing, and that's protection. Your brain believes these behaviors are protecting you from some kind of emotional hurts. You end up avoiding true intimacy, vulnerability, and emotional closeness, which of course protects you. You know, if you're not truly close to someone, you can't get hurt, right? Well, you might be thinking, but Abby, I want to be close to someone. This is something I really want. Well, I can tell you that the proof is in the pudding. If you're not in a close, trusting, amazing relationship, it's because you have some kind of unconscious belief or beliefs that are dangerous, that relationships are dangerous. So no matter what your conscious brain is telling you, that's what your unconscious is doing. And in general, self-sabotaging behaviors, if you want a definition, are basically any unhealthy patterns you developed, likely from your childhood. Whether you realize it or not, you were emotionally hurt in some ways as a kid and created behaviors to protect yourself. And these behaviors morphed and changed as you grew up. You know, maybe you went from sucking your thumb to drinking, but they're still there. Now, your attachment style is the way you learned to deal with any relationship you're in, especially romance. And that stems from your early childhood relationship with your caregivers. And there are basically three types of attachment styles. There's secure, anxious, and avoidant. And as you can, I don't know, probably guess from the name, people with a secure attachment style are doing great, and actually they're not watching this video right now. So likely, if you're sitting there, you have one of the other two. People with an anxious attachment style are anxious in their relationships. They often need a lot of reassurance. They can seem clingy, controlling, super jealous, among other things. If it's this anxiety that really stops others from truly getting close. I have a whole video on anxious attachment, which I'll link to below. But let me get on to the other kind of insecure attachment, which is avoidant attachment style. And people with that avoid getting too close or relying really on anyone. It's for different reasons, but comes out the same. They've learned to be self-sufficient and not need anyone else. So they avoid intimacy and true emotional closeness. And I did a whole deep dive on this topic of attachment styles on my Relationships Made Easy podcast, and I'll link to that episode below, and you can just jump right in there. So, but let's come back here. So self-sabotage shows up in really a bunch of ways that you might not recognize as self-sabotage. This happens with my clients all the time. So it's important to know the most common signs. And if any of these are you, definitely comment below. You know, when you comment, it sort of helps other people feel brave, and they'll often comment too. So let me know if any of these are you. And again, if you didn't realize that you were self-sabotaging by doing it. The number one thing I see with all my clients and with friends even and other people is criticizing. Criticizing or picking fights with your partner. You end up impossible to please, and your partner eventually gives up trying and breaks up with you. The second big thing I see is cheating in some way. And cheating doesn't have to just be physical cheating. It can be just browsing dating sites, following some busty women on Instagram that you know that your wife or girlfriend would not appreciate, flirting with a coworker, having an emotional relationship with someone else. These are all ways you're keeping your options open, consciously or unconsciously, so you can avoid emotional closeness and hurt. That's what you're doing. Now, the next one is self-harm behaviors. Things like abusing drugs or alcohol, binging, purging, eating poorly, staying up too late, generally not taking care of yourself. These, again, are self-sabotaging behaviors, and they will bite you in the butt in your relationships all the time. Another thing that you might have, another self-sabotaging behavior, is perfectionism. when there are these sky-high expectations, again, that no one feels like they can meet, it either has you breaking up with the person or them breaking up with you because they feel like they just can't get there. Number 5, the 5th one, is being jealous or paranoid. That's a self-sabotaging behavior. If you're always worried that your partner is seeing someone behind your back, you're jealous of their social media followers, you become a control freak and demanding with your partner. I did do a great video on how to stop being jealous, and I'll link to that below, but it's really a sign of self-sabotage. Another one is rages, anger, and resentments. Holding a grudge or staying resentful is a way of protecting yourself by pushing other people away. As long as you're mad, no one can really get close to you, so it works perfectly. And the last one I want to talk about today is that you tearing yourself down. I see this a lot, again, with my clients and other people. Tearing yourself down serves no one. You're always like, what's wrong with me? I'm always this. I'm never that. I can never do this. I'm a big fat pig. I look disgusting. You put your low self-esteem out there and almost dare your partner to break up with you. And actually, as I'm saying that, I'm going to add one more, and that is trouble stating your needs. That comes up a lot, and that is so self-sabotaging. When you consistently don't say what you need, you're likely self-sabotaging. Not only will you ruin your relationship, it's yet another way, again, it's guarding yourself from hurt. If I don't say what I want, they can't reject me, and I won't get hurt. So the number one thing you can do if you want to stop self-sabotaging behavior is probably what's on your mind right now, if you do any or all of those. And that number one thing is mindfulness. And I have to tell you, mindfulness is a superpower. This isn't some groovy TV little thing. This is well researched. We really know when you're mindful, you're aware of what you're thinking, so you don't let your thoughts and feelings blindly drive your actions and behavior. Mindfulness puts you in control of your life. I think of it as it gives you a pause button. So instead of just reacting, you can really stop and act, not react. And so when you think of self-sabotage, it's really because you're doing it and not realizing you're doing it. And when you're mindful, you can start to really have a conversation with yourself, notice what you're doing, and stop it, and really stop it in its tracks. I have a great video on 2 hacks to be mindful that I'll link to below, just to help you get started. But I also have a little gift. There are many roads to mindfulness, but the absolute best thing is to start meditating for just a few minutes a day. And if you're not already meditating, you can download, I have a free, no strings attached meditation starter kit, which starts you at literally just, I think that it's 3 minutes a day. It's something it might be even less. So, because as you become mindful, you'll be able to have this internal dialogue. You'll notice yourself, hey, I'm feeling resentful because my partner didn't jump to my defense at dinner when his friend was teasing me. And I'm sitting here thinking this means he doesn't have my back and he doesn't really love me and I can't trust him, so we need to break up. You go all the way there. And when you can hear yourself, when you can do that, you have this being mindful, you can then choose to think differently and have different reactions. So you might instead think in your head, well, why do I think it's my partner's job to have my back? Why don't I have my own back? And why isn't that enough? Or you might think, is it possible my partner does have my back, but they express it in ways I'm not noticing? Did they not notice their friend even teasing me and not think they needed to defend anything? What else could be true about how my partner feels about the situation that we're in? And before you know it, if you start doing this, self-sabotage will literally be a thing of the past. And again, meditation is a quick way, so quick, to be more mindful. You will find yourself being able to rest your brain, and your brain will sort of wake up during the day because it has this space and it will notice what you're doing. Again, it's amazing. And you can also, again, watch my video on the 2 hacks to be more mindful, which will also help you if you just feel like, I am not going to do this meditation thing, Abby. So there are other options. So if you're digging what you're learning here and you want to dive deeper on your relationship, you've got to check out my top-rated Relationships Made Easy podcast. We were written up on CNBC as one of the top 10 podcasts you should be listening to right now. So what are you waiting for? Talk to you next week.